Well, it's been an exciting time for Lima, Ohio, and guess what? It continues to grow. But it takes a team effort, so we've invited Mayor Sharetta Smith here, as well as Allen Economic Development CEO Cindy Leis. Welcome. All right, so like I said, it does take a team.
It does.
Yeah.
It does. Especially we've got some small organizations, and you know, it takes all of us working together to make these things happen.
Yeah, exactly. So let's kind of focus on some of the things that have happened and are happening. So let's talk about maybe downtown in the Central District and the area. That's been beautiful.
Yeah, I think what's happening in all of the downtown, when you talk about the Central District, you talk about amphitheater, you talk about Spring and Main, I think the message is that economic development is a team sport. Mm-hmm. You know, from the city's perspective, you know, we've been focusing on infrastructure improvements. So last summer we opened up Spring and Main, which was a $1 million investment in the streetscape, and nobody has missed the orange barrels that are occurring on Central District now, which is a $4 million investment in that infrastructure. And again, that's another project we could not have done without working together.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
So,
it's been, yes, public-private partnerships for sure.
Yeah. So with working together, how is that? So you're kind of like helping out with what's happening with the economic development, you know, Mayor, with you know, you're getting the private businesses come along, and then you make sure that that's supported as well. So is that how that works?
It's very strategic, really. I mean, when we do have private developers come to us and they're looking for sites, buildings, we want to find space for them, right? And we want them to redevelop. We want them to have ideas that fit into the overall plan that the city has as well.
Yeah. So there's a lot of untapped potential, I would say, in the city of Lima. One of the things I'm thinking about is the Riverfront 1 property.
Yes.
There's been lots of talk about that area. So can you kind of help us along with that?
Yeah, that's why it's extremely important to look ahead, right? Cindy mentioned about how they receive requests from businesses that want to come in our area. And so we're always having meetings looking ahead about what buildings need to be acquired, what are, again, infrastructure improvements that need to happen to make this area more attractive. So Riverfront 1 is a prime example. The city acquired the building about 2 years ago. We worked with Allen Economic Development Group as well as the Allen County Auditor's Office. We received some funding for brownfield cleanup. We're working closely with you all as well with the developer, which we can't announce yet, but we do have a developer that is interested in that property. And so we're looking at mixed use, so housing as well as some commercial spaces. But I think we're getting pretty close to being able to make an announcement.
Are you really?
You
don't want to do it today?
No, we do not want to do it today.
Later time.
Okay, because that is I mean, that's on a great property site, I will say. Every time I walk by that, I was like, gosh, there's so much potential with this area. And that's exciting that there is going to be something new and exciting for the city of Lima. So fantastic. You know, the EDCO site.
Yes, the EDCO site was an eyesore for many years on Kibbe Street. Yeah. And you know, while in the day it was probably a very useful business, but over time the building became blight and the property became blight. And we were able to acquire that property. We acquired a brownfield grant to clean that property up, and now it's ready for redevelopment for an industrial site in the city of Lima.
Yeah, that's a great site for an industry, you know. So what does it take for the cleanup efforts and just encouraging businesses to acquire something like that?
Yeah, I really think it is communication and reaching out to, you know, Allen Economic Development Group, the city of Lima. There are so many resources out there for businesses that a lot of people don't know about. We hear about, you know, the larger projects, but both of our entities also do a lot of work with helping small businesses or aspiring business owners. The city of Lima has been sponsoring an event every Wednesday morning called $1 Million million cups, where would-be entrepreneurs just show up on Wednesday mornings to have a cup of coffee. We have lunch and learns. Cindy was just talking about one of those. So we're really trying to help the full spectrum of business owners, understanding that small business is the backbone of our local economy, but also a lot of work in business retention and expansion efforts with our larger businesses, which Cindy, you want to talk about that?
Well, and back to even looking at some of the vacant buildings and some of the properties in the city, they need a lot of work for someone, a private lender, or a private developer, to take upon that work. So we want to try to get these sites ready, site ready for future development. So it's very helpful when we can collaborate, oftentimes go and seek grants for some of these cleanup projects, because we've got vacant buildings and vacant land throughout the city that we want to continue to see if we can do some redevelopment there.
Yeah, when you talk about those vacant lands, I see potential.
Yes.
You know?
Yes.
And I'm sure you do as well.
We do.
I mean, you all have been making some bold moves that have been really strategic and just vibrant, making the city more vibrant and exciting. And you see, years ago, you never saw people going downtown, and now it's a thriving place. So I have to say, well done with that. So Mayor and Cindy, thank you so much for coming in today. Keep up the great work, and the excitement of Lima will continue.
Well, thank you for having us.
My pleasure.
Appreciate it.
All right, well, don't go away. We'll look at the weather when we return.